Welcome to all of you. This morning we have an unusual story to listen to, and that involves a student that Loretta Kaufman from our class has learned to know. She said it was in the summer between the freshman and sophomore year. So they've known each other very well for the last 3 years, and they will share their own story. So I'm going to introduce Loretta. Loretta is rather new to our class because she came to us on a regular basis through Zoom. She and Mel, her husband, joined College Mennonite Church about 10 years, a little more, probably 12 years ago. And then she and her husband attended Pathfinder's church, Sunday school class on a regular basis. 4 years ago, Mel died, his health deteriorated, and he died. So after that, she came and joined the Sojourners class. She was acquainted with many of us and has been a regular attender of our Zoom classes. And she is very at home and now has listed her name as a Sojourner. She's on our list. This morning, we have an interesting story to hear from her and her friend Kiprup, K-I-P-R-O-U-P, I guess. Okay. A Goshen College student from Kenya. He's a senior nursing student, and she will tell more. So thank you very much, Kiprup, for coming, and Loretta for introducing. I will have to go. I plan to I will get up and stand about 11:30, and I hope we have some questions for you at that time. So, very good.
Yes, good morning to all of you. This is very special for me, and you'll meet Kiprup and you'll know why this is very special to me. Just a bit of a background. It was a Thursday in July, and I had been here at the church for Mennonite women. And I was returning home. I have a three-wheeler, and I was going past the rec center, and there was this young man pulling thistles in the flower bed by the rec center. And as I often do, or usually do, I stopped and I talked to him and affirmed him for what he was doing. And we talked a little bit more, and I found out that he was from Kenya, Africa. And my family, my parents had sponsored a student from not Kenya, but Africa. And you know how we group everything together. And so when that kind of brought us together. And we have talked about this, that I just happened to be going past there at that particular time. And Kiprup says he worked all over campus, and he just happened to be right there. And we can't call it a coincidence. And so anyway, like I said, I stopped and talked to him. And before I left, we exchanged phone numbers. And then after, I don't know, several days or whatever, he texted me, and I returned text. And then he did again. And this was over maybe a week or so. And so I invited him to come and join me on my patio. I live there at Queencroft. I'm right across from the community, or from the Central Manor. My patio faces the street. And he did. And so it started out, well, I just wanted, to know everything I could. So anyway, he told me about his family and especially his granny. And you'll talk about granny. Okay. And he wanted to help me, anything he could do to help me. And at the time, I had just gotten carpeting, and I did have some needs. And I don't remember how it came about, whether you asked me or whether you just started, I'm Granny. And he calls me Granny, and I feel so privileged. So this is our Kipra. And he is a senior. One of the things right away, he talked about, I can't wait to be a senior. I can't wait to be a senior. Right. Okay, now you have it.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay. My voice is a little bit because I went to a cross-country meet yesterday, and I was very loud that I lost my voice a little bit. My name is Victor Kiprop. I'm from Kenya, and I'm a senior nursing student at Goshen College. I'm a cross-country runner, and I do track and field as well. I remember when I was a freshman, one of my friends here in the States asked me if I knew his friend who lives in South Africa. And I was like, well, I think Africa is very big. It's very big, and even bigger than a couple continents combined together. And so he thought Kenya was just a city in Africa, and Africa was a country. But no, Africa is a continent, 54 countries, and Kenya is in the East Africa part of it. So a little bit about me is I grew up in a very, very small village. I don't know if you have the PowerPoints.
Let me share this.
Yeah, so for me, I grew up in a very, very small village in Kenya, a village of less than 1,000 people. It's a small village enough to make a family, as well as big enough to change the world, I think, because I've been able to travel a lot and see a lot of people. But back at home, I know everybody. For those of you maybe who have traveled or had people who've traveled, Kenya is one of the, the top leading countries in wildlife in Africa. And so for me, it's a place of wildlife, it's a place of wildlands, rich traditions that endure. And it's a place to fall in love with nature, because when I was growing up, I would just run up and about in the farm. I didn't really have to worry much about vehicles running super fast or anything like that. And so at some point, I thought I had everything I needed in life. I really didn't know what was out there in life. I was so content with the life that I was living, waiting for the sun to rise and set between 6 and 6:30 every day. It was always warm enough for me to be outside almost all the time. The lowest it gets is 60, the highest it gets 80. And so I kind of got a little bit comfortable with it. I really didn't know how much was out there for me in life. So a little bit about the Kenyan culture. It's more of a communism culture whereby people do things together, go places together, and in most cases, worship and gather together for celebrations and a lot of things. And so that was part of me when I was growing up. I would grow up together with some other kids in the community, raising, animals. It was expected of all the boys. It's a very patriarchal community whereby there's a clear divide of roles, the boys and the girls. For the boys, it was always our responsibility to take care of the cows, and the girls would do some other things. And so together with my friends, we just go up and about fields, take care of the cows. And for me, I kind of thought that was what was meant for me to be in life. Just grow up, continue raising cows and get married, begin a family, and pass on to the next generation after me. But that wasn't the thing. I graduated, I went to school, but because it was the three of us, I'm a first generation student. My parents didn't have enough to really get us into good private schools or anything like that. And so after I graduated high school, for me, dropping out of school wasn't really a big deal because once I realized my parents didn't have enough money to take me to school, I couldn't really complain because I was always reminded that sometimes we didn't even have enough to eat. So complaining about going to school was maybe out of concern. So my parents talked to me about, not being able to fund my school. And I was kind of okay with it. I saw a lot of people dropping out of school no matter how good they scored. And so I did. I graduated high
Do you
school.
have any pictures of your home area? Are there any on here?
I think we have some. Do you have some pictures?
Do you have any pictures of his?
I think you can be slightly, you can just
Home
blink
area.
the pictures back and forth. So that is, maybe I can speak to that a little bit. So this is kind of like how my community dresses up, how they live. So those will be like me and some other friends just hanging out for celebrations after work that afternoon and stuff. We just enjoy our time together, talk, and so the setting in the community is like in the morning, like a lot of the families would wake up in the morning, the dads would go work in the fields, the moms would maybe stay at home, make food and do some cleaning. Everybody would be busy from maybe 6 in the morning. So the thing, one of the cultures is like, you're not supposed to wake up after sunrise. So basically that meant you're supposed to wake up very early in the morning. The sun did rise and set between 6 and 6:30 every day throughout the year. So we were up by very early in the morning. We'd walk in the fields from between 7 to 1 in the afternoon. It was a hard job. We didn't have machines. It was a hard labor, and still we could do it. In the afternoon, we'd come home, get food that our mothers made. Then in the afternoon, pretty much almost everybody was free. My mom, together with all the other mothers in the community, would gather up together and work together, maybe just catch up a little bit. The men would always meet, I don't know, maybe in people's houses or maybe anything like that, to just discuss about the community events that was going on. Together with my friends, we'd meet like this, have fun, play, sing. The girls would do the same thing, go out, get firewood, and at the end of the day, we'd come home and discuss everything that we kind of learned. Our dads would tell us, like, my friend is having this and this. I'd be like, okay, my friend is having this trouble, and we'd also, the community's trouble that way. At the end of the day, we all knew what was going on. We helped each other as much as we knew, and as much as we were supposed to. So after that, after graduating high school, I was okay. I was pretty much okay with dropping out of school. Although I performed very well in high school, I had a couple straight A's. I really wanted to go to a medical school. I really didn't know how or why, but one of the hardest things I faced when I was growing up is growing up without a role model. Growing up without somebody to look up to was kind of hard because you really don't know what it takes to be what. In my community, we don't have a doctor. I've never been close to a professor. The highest career goal I'd ever seen, or maybe be close to, was a teacher because they taught me in school. But other than that, it was very hard. So after dropping out of school, I stayed at home. I had my parents, I had my grandparents in their farms because it was kind of expected of me. I don't know, I think you can go to the next picture. So that's kind of what I did back home. I remember helping out my grandmother, and after some time, that was in 2015, 2016, she started getting sick. she couldn't tell me why she was sick, or I think it's because she was so close to me. And I come from a community, a culture where they don't discuss death, they don't discuss like illness and stuff. It's mostly considered like, I don't know, a bad man to think about it. And so that's kind of how I grew up. My grandmother never told me why she was going to the hospital, but I knew she was having some regular checkups. I didn't have enough medical background. I didn't have anybody around me the same to kind of guide me through what she was going to. And got a point, she started needing blood donations, like blood transfusions. And back at home, it's kind of expensive because everything for you to get any service, you need to pay for it first before you get it, as well as compared to here in the States, they'll take care of you first and then you'll pay for it later, right? So back at home, when my grandmother told me like she needed some blood transfusion and she couldn't afford the money, I didn't really understand why. But together with some friends, we went to the hospital, we donated blood. And so through the blood bank, they could switch and give her whatever the blood type group she was. I remember she was A positive because I'm A positive too. Yeah. Maybe we can go to the next picture. Maybe next one. Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about that. So still my grandmother, we later on realized that she was struggling with leukemia. It was until when I was a senior nursing student, as of a junior, that I learned more about cancer and blood cancer. And to me, because I was kind of like taking care of her so much, I had all her paperwork, and I came with them to the States because I was very desperate to really know what she was going through back home. But still in 2016, she got very sick, very sick. We kept on doing blood transfusions, but we couldn't understand what was going on. Got to a point where, you know, we saw her health was deteriorating so bad, and we kind of had to talk a little bit. She talked to me through what she was going through and how much she was ready in life. She had done so much in life, and I remember in her deathbed, we kind of talked a little bit about how great she wished to see me succeed in life. She told me, like, you're gonna travel the world, you're gonna meet a lot of wonderful people, they're gonna take care of you. For me, it didn't really make a lot of sense because I was like, you know, I've never even gone out of my hometown. How can I travel the world, you know? It was almost, okay, wildest dream, I think. And so kept on doing that. She passed away in February 16 of 2016. It was on a Tuesday afternoon, and we kind of talked a little bit before she passed away, and that was hard. That was kind of hard to break into me because I was staying with her at that time. She was kind of like my breadwinner. She was my rock. She was my source of strength and peace and comfort. And so when she passed away, I went back home to my parents. Still my parents in 2017, and life changed so bad that everything was kind of hard. Everything was hard. The only person that I relied after that was my girlfriend. And at that time when my grandmother passed away, my girlfriend was kind of like the person that I could talk to. And then unfortunately again, she passed away on her birthday party. She was involved in an accident. She drowned. And that is why I kind of started asking God questions. I was like, hey, God, why did this happen to me? I didn't really deserve this. But anyway, that happened. In 2018, I started looking out for schools. I said, well, I think the community doesn't really belong to me. I really want to get out to the world. And I said, well, I've got a talent. I can run, not faster than anybody else, but a decent amount, you know, decent time. I'm good, not the smartest kid, but at least I know something. So I started applying to schools all over the world. Through a friend, I was contacted, and they enabled me to get my email address. I got my first email address. I remember it was in like mid 2018. didn't have any social media, didn't have a phone either. So I would just maybe run to the nearest town, it was like 10 miles away. I would get an access to the computer. They would help me out. I still struggle with computers, but they kind of helped me out. I started sending emails to schools all across the world. Like I knew for the first time, I thought the US only had 4 states because they're very famous back at home. Like if you're watching movies, you'll hear Texas, California, and New York. For some reason, I thought Chicago was a state. And until later on, I realized it's a state, it's a city in Illinois. I applied to schools, so I would just go to like schools in New York State, get a list of those schools, apply to them, and just say, well, my name is Victor Kiprop, I'm a student athlete, and I would be very glad to come to your school on an athletic scholarship if possible. Some schools, a lot of the schools did not respond. When I saw the map of Illinois, I said, I don't want to go to a big city because there's so much going on in those cities. I said, well, I want to go to a smaller town, like next town to the next state to Indiana, which is Illinois. I mean, the next state to Illinois, which is Indiana. I looked for schools in Goshen, and that is kind of when I knew my career was shaped. I wanted to be a nurse. Reason being, I wanted to take care of people. I really find meaning and purpose in life, taking care of people, especially those who cannot help themselves. Goshen College responded to me through my mentor, who's been very influential in my life. His name is Coach Rusty Nice. He's a cross-country coach. He gave me an offer to come to Goshen. I applied and they accepted my transcripts and everything else, and they admitted me. So when it came to the time to tell my parents, like, well, mom, I'm gonna leave home. I want to leave home. I got a scholarship to go to the States to go study nursing. This school, my mom was very much against it. My parents were, because I later on realized they were concerned and they loved me so much that they didn't want to lose me, because just so hard to send your child to a known country. Nobody's ever been there before in your family. And so I was like, well, just letting you know, because I don't really think I'm really asking for it, because this is a golden opportunity for me to go. I don't belong here. So I came to the States through an athletic scholarship. Finally, my parents did let me go. Do you have the next picture, please? That is kind of my family. The camera's not as clear. It's a US camera, but so to the left, to the right, I think is my brother. His name is Festus. He just graduated college a couple weeks ago. It was so hard to get him through school because by the time I left home, he had dropped out of school. And that's my mom. Then that's me in the middle, and my younger brother who is on the left. It was hard. It was hard. I couldn't sleep when I got to the States. I felt I was spoiled. I felt I had a lot of things that most of my people didn't have, especially my brothers. They dropped out of school by the time I came to the States. But I remember sometime after knowing Lorena, I would just share my concerns and be like, I'm good, I'm happy, I have everything I need, but my people don't. I really wish to see my brothers go back to school and get opportunities that I've had, maybe not as best as I've had, but at least some. We worked together and we were able to send my brothers to school. They graduated. My younger brother is in high school now. I came to the States. It was a struggle. One of the most painful things you'll ever face in life is to travel away from your home, leave your family and dear ones behind, not knowing when to see them again. It was hard. I cried all the way from Kenya to the US. It was a long trip. I couldn't figure out my way around. I got lost in the airports a lot. Village boy in the cities, in big airports, I didn't know where I was going, but I had my travel documents. I would ask everybody, like, do you know where my gate is? Do you know where I'm supposed to go? And they'd be like, you don't know where you're going? I said, well, I don't know. Just depend on the pilot to take me. They showed me my gate. They connected me from one airplane to another. That's kind of how I found myself to Indianapolis. My coach picked me up in Indianapolis, got me to Goshen. That's Yeah, they came with my team. They came with my team, and at the airport, I landed at Indianapolis. 3 a.m. in the morning. I was very hungry, very, very hungry because I left Kenya without anything. I didn't even have a dollar. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a thing. I just had a backpack. I had dreams and hopes and a vision to change my world, if not that of my family. They came with a banner that had my name on it. And they were like, "Are you Victor Kiprop?" I said, "Well, that's me." And they were like, "Yeah, we're here to pick you up." They took me to the college. I got to school, and that's kind of how life began. It was hard. I struggled a lot. I had like, you have the next picture, by any chance. I had a lot of struggles. That's my team. Those were my parents. Those were my brothers. Those were my sisters. That was home to me. You know, I think as an international student, holiday to me meant time to wait for the rest to go back home, come back, because Jones was my life, and that's kind of where I lived all the time. But they gave me home, they gave me everything I had. I struggled with food. The food was different. The climate, the culture was different. The culture was different. I grew up in a community where you just, say hi to everybody, play with everybody, show up at any house and get fed. I was used to everybody asking me how you're doing, everybody just checking on me randomly, which these are the only people that did on campus, my church and some other few friends. It meant so different to me. It was tough, but through the family of friends, the teammate, the cross-country team, I was able to navigate my couple years of school. I got enrolled in the nursing program. I was able to navigate all the cultural barriers, all the, I didn't know how to use a computer. I remember that. I couldn't figure out my homework on the computer, which that was hard. I didn't know where to go, what to do at any time. But when I was a sophomore, I was able to get a phone, and I called my mom after a couple months, 3 or 4 months. She cried, we couldn't talk. I tried the second time, she was crying, but she was glad I was happy. Just letting her know that I was happy and I was in school. Got enrolled in the nursing program. My junior year was kind of tough. That's when we had COVID. I lost my job on campus. But that kind of opened up a lot of doors to me too. I was able to apply to Goshen Hospital. Got a job as a nursing assistant, and I worked the whole of last year. I worked on the COVID unit. That broke my heart. I cried almost every day. I'd get home, no matter how much we tried, we were always losing patients. I almost changed my major. I was like, no, I didn't come for this. I didn't come to cry. But I was like, well, if I can cry caring for people, then that's good. I was able to find support and help from the community. From Loretta, she had been my granny. She covered up for my granny that I lost back home. But that was the time that I couldn't see her because of COVID. So everything was taken away from me. I worked on a COVID unit every day. And that kind of made me a little bit, from an ethical point of view, I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to expose anybody because I took a lot of self-precautions, but still I didn't want to expose anybody. So all I could do was just stay by myself. I could go for weeks without seeing anybody other than my patients. They never talked to me because they were mostly intubated and stuff. So life got better. I got to my senior year. I really desperately wanted to be a senior. I wanted to get close to graduating because it's been a struggle balancing between athletics, classes, working, being an international student, because it's kind of feels like you have two families now. I need to build my family in the States, connect with my family back home. I need to figure out who I am as well as tell people who I am. It was hard. But to this point, I really thank God. It's just been a walk of faith. I'm not yet successful there, but I think I'm successful to my way to success. And that's been very assuring to me. I don't know if you have so many other pictures. You can just scroll over all of them. Yeah, I think that is the last one. I love sunsets. It's a sign of hope and faith. Something's gonna come again tomorrow. Good thing. And it's always been assurance to me that it's all right. You know, the sun might, set, but when the time is right to rise again. I've gone through a lot of challenges, but I always find a comfortable space. Everything always comes back as God wants for us.
I didn't talk to Rick about endings. Do you have an ending to this whole thing? Okay.
I don't see if there are questions.
Yes, are there questions now that you would like to ask?
Questions, comments, or feedback?
What are your plans for the next 2 years?
Could you repeat the question?
He asked what my plans for the next 2 years. So I'm planning on graduating next year, in May, which after that, if all goes well as I planned, I'm planning on working at Bush Hospital the next couple of years for like 2 years. And then after that, I'll have the necessary requirements, at least 2 years of experience to go back to nursing school to be a nurse practitioner. And after being a nursing practitioner, might later go into, it's called CRNA, it's anesthesiologist school. And yeah, then maybe in future, I don't know when, if I can be able to use that to help my family and community back home, I'll be glad to do that.
I'm not sure if you got a hold of it, that all this time, Kiprop has been sending money home.
Yeah.
When he would know of a need for his mother, his brothers, and yeah, we didn't know, we don't know how much he helped them. The summer that he couldn't work at the college when it was closed, we were able to find another job for him. I mean, he couldn't work anyplace else, but he could volunteer. And so he's great with a tractor, especially a John Deere, huh?
I love it.
The big tractor that he mowed out at a soccer field, took care of that. And so yes, there's so much I feel like is left out, but
Yeah.
no, not really. I mean,
Yeah. So with all the privileges that I've had, I always felt fulfillment sharing my privileges with those around me. Have a chance to go to school. This is the greatest country you'll ever go to. This is the best school you'll ever attend. For me, I think I call it my foreign home. You cannot replace your home, but you can always find another one. And I found this place to be my home. Gosh, I know when to go, what to do. So I've been able to help my parents. I can't really say how much I've helped my family, but what I can say is I've been able to help my two brothers get through school. And that has been meant a lot to me. What she said, I volunteered at the soccer memorial fairs, and I was doing that, to be able to remember this, but mostly I was doing that in memory of Loretta Kaufman's son called Jamie.
so we were able to help contribute to him at some.
Tell us a bit more about your track.
Oh, my track. I've been running for the last maybe 2.5 years until like last semester when I got injured, and I kind of took a little bit some time off from that. Talked to my coach a lot, and we saw it would be way more healthy, not to do it so hard and hurt my feet, because he wants me to be a nurse more than he wants me to be his athlete. But I see my teammate's host mom, Nelson's host mom, is one of my my childhood friend from Kenya, and he's a proud host mom to now the school stop bleeding record holder. He broke the record yesterday. In cross country. Yeah, this lemon.
Oh. Yes.
I was interested, it was hard for me to catch everything you were saying with the distraction over here in the next class, but having Nelson in the home, and I really appreciate a lot of things I've learned about your culture and about the running world. Nelson ran yesterday again. Were you running yesterday too?
No, I did not run yesterday. Yeah.
But you were, what, you've turned into a,
Can I help out with the coaching? And,
coaching, and he's
Yeah.
photographer, and
Anyway,
yeah.
it's been a pleasure learning to know you and the other Kenyans that are nursing students and that are here. We had them down to the lake and so forth. So I wish you well as you finish your year. Walk home ready time. Nelson's on studying, so.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And also maybe on behalf of the other international students, I'd really like to pass my appreciation to all the donors that have been kind of helping the international students community in any way. One of them being hosting him. Means a lot. Coming from a foreign country and living in the dorms means way more, especially to be in a home with people. My host parents are Joe and Joanne Springer, and they're the best people I have. They make me stay in line, and thank you together with some other people for helping the community, international community. Thank you so much.
Were the men in red Maasai?
Yeah, that's very right. Yeah.
Are you Maasai?
No, I'm not on Maasai, but they're the next community. Yeah, we interact a lot.
I have been to Masai Mara.
How was it? How was it? Good, I guess.
and you speak your language.
Oh, yeah, I'm trilingual. In Kenya, we have 3 languages. First of all, no, we have 42 tribes. Each tribe speaks their tribal language. My tribe is one of them, and it's called Kalenjin. And it's so easy to know, like almost all our names begin with Kip. His son is Hassan his name is Kip Kimboy. My name is Kip Robin. We have a lot of Kip, and then for the girls it's Chep. So Maasai is one of the tribes. And then Swahili is the national language that all those 42 tribes can speak to each other. And then English is my 3rd language. Before I came to the States, I kind of had only written, and I could read and write in English, but I didn't really know how to speak it as well. So I can say pretty much I started speaking English when I first came to the States. And still a struggle. We try to get better every day, and yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
This is Rachel Hartzler, and I'm thankful to hear your presentation, Kiprop. I heard you say that you plan to continue your education when you finish at Goshen.
That's right.
But I didn't understand. Are you planning to eventually return to Kenya and work there, or do you anticipate possibly staying in the US?
It's kind of like, I'll answer it this way. I see my career goal for between the next 5 to 15 years, still walking back and forth between working and going to school, because I want to go to as highest learning position as I can, because I'm sure I might be the only person to do that, and not a lot of people have to do that. So yeah, to answer your question, I'd see myself in the States between 10 and 15 years from now, trying to struggle balancing between family, work, and school. And I don't know, after that, I might go back home, but my dream hospitals to work for, one of them is IU Health, Indiana University. It's a big hospital around the area, and if I can do that, then I'd be honored. So yeah, I see myself being around for quite a while.
Can I add something? Talking about.
Yep. Go ahead.
Talking about going home. What I understand, you were planning to go home sometime during this time or at least after graduation.
That's right.
And then because of health needs of his mother, he has, the money that he would have used to go home has been going to help his mother. And if I understand right, you have been in communication with the doctors there
That's right.
and have helped to make decisions.
That's right.
And so it's not that he's abandoning his family in any way. And but family comes first, you know, even he would love to go home.
Yep.
And he lets us know that President Obama had a granny back in Kenya too.
That's right.
He had a picture but yeah, I never know, you know, we text back and forth and maybe about once a week when his schedule is pretty tight, then not so much. But I think I said, or I meant to say, he always initially, I think I did say it, he wanted to help me. And that was kind of the bond between us, that, you know, in any way that he could help me. And there have been ways. The fact that he's tall and just other things too. He's helped me. But I always tell him when he affirms me in any way, I tell him, but I'm building on the foundation of your granny back in Kenya, because she was so special, and she gave him a purpose. If you want to, you can say more, but she was tough. But when he said she was. I mean,
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I'm just, a little bit to clarify what she said. Yeah, I really wanted to go home. Everyone wants to go home. Everyone who wants to go home, right? Sometimes it's a lot traveling back and forth, being a student, and I really wanted to go home this December, but I realized to do with some balancing my classes super tough. I haven't been able to work lately and everything else. So I kind of give a pass on that because it's very costly financially and timely. So yeah, I just sacrificed everything I had for my family, and my mom is expecting to have like I think a back surgery. Have power of attorney, so I need to have some conversations with the doctor back home to just see what's best for her. And yeah, you had a question, right? It's not a question, but
Stand up and get your question.
I didn't understand exactly how you knew about Goshen College and got here. Maybe you mentioned that, but I didn't.
oh yeah, that was totally step of it thing. I knew about Goshen College on the internet.
what?
On the internet,
Internet.
I just looked it up. I was looking for nursing schools in India, but I was very specific. I was looking for Christian nursing schools in the US because I was very nervous to go away from home, but I kind of figured out that the least something could go wrong was in a Christian community.
I want to thank you, Kipra, for coming in this morning and sharing with us, and for Loretta to allow us to learn to know the story a little bit. Every African student and all international students have their own particular story as to how they learned about Goshen College and how they got here. And it's almost a miraculous story most times, how that all takes place and how it happens. We're thankful for your work here. And you will plan to be graduating this year? You're a senior?
Hopefully.
He will. He's, you caught it, that
Yes.
he's here on an academic and athletic scholarship. And so that tells us.
We're glad for your ability to run. I remember seeing runners in Kenya and would admire how fast they were going and how long they went.
I think running in Kenya is just it's a culture, not necessarily a culture, a means of transport. Running is a means of transport in Kenya, you know. We ran back and forth from school and yeah. So, really,
Well, thank you for giving us this time. Usually you're sleeping in on Sunday mornings because you work all night long, right?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends with my working schedule and everything. And sometimes I go to church every Sunday that I didn't work the night
Yes,
before.
right.
Yeah, but sometimes it just doesn't happen.
A very full schedule for nursing students. Yes.
Can't do it to be done.
Thank you for your time and your coming this morning.